What's up, dudes? HW here. I got some questions about this. I'll do a video on it. It's like a Fender Japanese. It's somebody's signature model. Google Fuji Fabric signature Fender. I got some questions about that. I'll do a video, but for those of you who want to know, it's like a Fender Japanese model. I don't know how I got it here. I found it for sale. And it's only for the Japanese market, but somebody's signature, and it looks like this. Cool. I think of it as a telly, like a modified telly, but some friends told me they think of it's a Strat. And I was like, I don't know. But I dig it. It looks cool. And it sounds really good. Dudes, we're talking about today my predictions for the modeler digital amp market in 2025. And I think there's going to be some really, really cool stuff coming out in 2025. But I got to be careful because I do have a couple things in the house right now that are not released, and I've signed some NDAs, or I just know I'm not supposed to talk about them yet. I have some relationships with a couple companies, but nobody pays me to do reviews or anything. I don't like taking money to do reviews. I think it's some people have given me some free gear in the past to do the reviews. You know, they give me the unit that I'm reviewing. And so that's nice. I always appreciate where there's so many great people that I've worked with. The Kemper guys are lovely people. They're some of my favorites. I go way back with them. They're good friends of mine. Love all those guys. And then the guys at IK are great. You know, they really listen to feedback, and they're doing a lot. I love that product. QC is, I think, one of the best in class still, with all the features it's got. And Doug is a really smart guy. A lot of respect for him. And I think they've built just an amazing thing. Steve at NAMM, cool guy. I hope to see him at NAMM. Anyway, my predictions for the modeling market, the capture market in 2025, without giving anything away that I know for sure. Here's my first prediction. I think more people in this NAMM and next NAMM, the next 24 months, are going to become involved in capture tech. A long time ago, I had a prediction called Modeling is Dead, Why the Future is All Capture Tech. And it was basically that the communities, if they have capture tech in their hands, can create more stuff than modeling companies. And I think you see that that's true. But modeling will still has a place, and it's still a thing. But I think we're going to see why there's a million modeling solutions, especially in the low end of stuff. You know, there's the Boss, and there's the Moore units, and there's like the I don't know, Tajima or something, I can't remember, but there's all these units, those one who make the G-Sus guitar or whatever. There's all that stuff, and they're cool for what they are, but I think in this we're going to see a lot more capture tech coming involved. So I think we're going to see that. I also think we're going to see more big companies like Fender. How Fender got involved in modeling. I think we're going to see more companies getting into this ecosystem. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Vox or a Marshall get involved here. But where I really think those companies should get involved and what they should do, I was a little disappointed when the Tonemaster Pro came out at how few Fender amps there were at launch. I'm a Fender amp collector. I love Fender amps. And I collect all sorts of amps, but I love Fender amps. I really got turned on to the black panel era, and then the brown panel era, black face, brown face, we call them too, and then tweed. I love the tweed amps, and I have a couple, and I really thought Fender could have done more to be like, here's the the brown Pro, and this is what it did really well. And I felt like that time hasn't really been taken to really re-educate people on so many of the great Fender amps. There's been sort of like, and I think a lot of times Fender gets pigeonholed as one thing. Everyone thinks it's just the 65 Deluxe and the 65 Twin. And that's it. And it's like, no, the tweeds are amazing. They're the sound of so many iconic records, even through the 80s and 90s. Frusciante used a bassman on all that, on a lot of that clean stuff. So, along with like Silver Jubilees and stuff. So there's so much in the Fender catalog. I think Fender, though, and I hope Marshall does this too, will take the UA route. Fender has already spent so much money on these Tone Master amp things, and it's great that they make amps, but why have they not put the Tone Master stuff into a pedal? Why are they, basically UA is making the product Fender should make. And I think we're going to see Fender come out with Tone Master pedals, where it's going to be like a Tone Master amp in a box, and it's going to have multiple Tone Master amps in there, just for sending direct. And then maybe they even sell a cabinet with it, or maybe they do a mini Tone Master head that has like, a blackface bassman on one side and like a tweed, whatever champ on the other, or tweed deluxe on the other. All those could be super cool. I think we're going to see, along with more companies just getting involved in the technology and stuff. Here's what I think we're going to see from all the different platforms. Kemper. I don't know that we're going to see anything new from Kemper. I know that they're not showing at this NAMM. I don't think we're going to see anything really new because of that. I think we probably towards the end, maybe the end of the year, we might see some hints at some new stuff. I don't really know anything other than it would be true Kemper fashion to add some more effects, to continue to support their units. They're supporting all the units. And I'm a big fan of the player, but it feels like they just kind of launched the player. It wasn't even January. It was like, when did we do NAMM? March or April. So it was just 9 months ago. NAMM was going every 9 months for this winter show to get back to its original January thing after it took a break with the big outbreak and everything, that pandemic we had. And so it feels like just 9 months ago, Kemper really just showed the player. So there's no new hardware coming out. So I'd anticipate maybe some new effects and some updates with that sort of thing this year. Helix, I'm going to go a contrarian view on Helix. I know a lot of people are talking about Helix 2, Helix 2, Helix 2. Man, I don't know that we're going to see Helix 2 for a couple years. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree. I think we're not going to see anything from them because I think their product line is selling still really well. They keep expanding the product line. Helix, Line 6, I think, does this. I don't think they're terribly innovative. And what I mean by that is this. Their strength is not innovation. They're not the scrappy upstart that brings something brand new that you've never seen before. What they do is productize things better than anybody, and they bring it to market at an affordable price. The Helix has been so good out of the box since it came out, and other people were doing modeling. Other people had already had a big selection of effects, and honestly, Axe had sort of already become shown that professionals would do modeling. And Helix, when it came out, it was just so well put together, such a beautiful presentation of the screen and the graphics and the easy to understand, signal path. They had a great editor right away. That product is, it still is competing today. And I think it's just, with how they've repackaged a lot of those algorithms and continue to support it, the whole family, HX Stomp, Pod Go, or Pod Express, they're so good at taking what they have and putting into all these different form factors because their strength is really a product. They are a great product company, and I think they make great stuff. I would honestly love to see Yamaha and Line 6 do a little more together. I'd like to see some more, like some of those Yamaha guitars coming with really cool, maybe a digital feature here or two, here or there. I know they did it with the Variax guitar, but felt like that might have just been a little too much of a toy, a little too much too soon. And I think there's a place in the market for something like that. Yeah, that's just my thought. I think there's a cool way to adapt something like that onto their guitars and do something. But I don't know that that's coming. I don't really get the feeling they're working on anything From their marketing and stuff, it seems like it's, really emphasizing that the Helix is still just as good as anything else out there, even though there's a bunch of newer units on the market. So, hey, that's fair. Axe, I don't know. Maybe they'll update some stuff. I don't know. I have no predictions there, really. Tonex. Here's my big prediction for Tonex. I think that Tonex has to be working on a board. They have to be working on a board because Tonex started as a software. It became a pedal. And funny enough, I just randomly one day made a video predicting the Tonex pedal would come because I saw they were making pedals and they had the software, and I was like, they have to be making a pedal. That would be awesome. And then later that day, I got a call from my buddy Kevin at Vintage King. He's like, do you want to come see the pedal? I have it here. I'm like, what? So he gave it, and then they reached out to me too, and were like, how did you know? And I was like, I just guessed. And so, and then they sent me one, and I was able to be part of the launch content with them. So that was great. They're good. They're great dudes, and I think they're making a great product. But they do have a little issue around the software right now. A lot of people want it to be a true editor, and I think that is something they should be working on. But I really think they went software. They have all the Amplitude stuff. They make the pedals. The pedals obviously look similar to the Tonex pedal. It feels like Tonex is this thing in its own world, and Amplitude's right here, and Tonex is like sitting next to it. And I think you can marry these two products by give us basically hardware-wise a clone of the Helix. Just don't reinvent the wheel. Give us a clone of the Helix. We can load our Tonex stuff in and give us a bunch of effects. And I think what they will find is the effects don't even have to be the best in the industry to really make a huge splash. Because I think Quad Cortex actually launched with a lot more simple effects stuff. And even still, they don't have the most effects of anybody out there. But their stuff is good. They made some updates to make like reverbs less DSP hungry at the beginning, and it solved all the problems. And I really hats off to Doug. He's such a smart guy, Doug Castro at who heads up Neural DSP. Such a smart dude. You rarely see people with that much business acumen and engineering know-how. He's a smart dude, and he's totally ripped these days. You follow him on Instagram? The dude's got abs. Anyway, okay. They really have a best-in-class product, and I think Tonex is really buying market share. Software, they have the free version of software. Of course, you can buy Max, the Max version. They're making, their own capture stuff. I make capture stuff. Anyway, I make capture stuff, but they're making their own stuff too, and so they're making money that way. They came out with the flagship unit, and then they went smaller. And I got to think with their hardware, with their software background, and their capacity and hardware now, they have to give us a big floorboard unit because all these other units are up here at the $1599 price point. Helix, Quad Cortex, FM9, Kemper Stage, they're all up here. At that $1599 price point, and that's got to be a better margin for the Tonex people. So I can't imagine they're not going to do that. And I wonder if they'll come in, present that product, and undercut everybody a little bit. They seem to like to be the cheapest on the market. And I think when you have a great feature set and you're the cheapest, you gobble up the pie. You just gobble up the pie. You gobble up the market share pie. And I think those guys are really smart for looking at it that way. But I want to make one big prediction, and that's this. 2025 is the year of NAM, Neural Amp Modeler. And I say that because there's recently been something that transpired in the NAM world that I think is actually really important. If you don't know, Neural Amp Modeler is the free open source, sort of plugin that you can get and technology that you can get on your computer and play a bunch of people's amps. All you have to do is load up your amp, train the model, and then put it out there, and other people can download it for free. Some people are selling these. I have sold some in the past. I'm still selling some, and I've been making a bunch, actually. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to release for Neural Amp Modeler. I've tried the Dime Head player. It's a great unit. I think that is everything's pushing it forward. But there's these guys at a website called Tone Zone 3000 and they actually made a trainer, an online trainer. Now, previously, it had been quite difficult to train your own models. A lot of the geeks in the chat are going to go, it wasn't difficult, HW. You know, what is it? You call that difficult? No. You had to go on to Google this and get a subscription, blah, 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 or you had to do a bunch of free accounts and use you had to copy the script in to run the training script, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to do that. Okay, normal people don't want to do that, okay? People who are more tech savvy might not mind doing that, but people don't want to do it. iPhone people don't want to do that. Android people maybe don't mind. But now you can go to this website. You can put the load on your amp, record the signal coming back from your amp. You send a test signal in, record the signal coming back, drop that into Tone Zone. It trains it, and now they're joining with Tone Hub, which was another a community-made sort of directory repository, almost like the cloud, where you could put up all your tones and people could search for them. Now that these two things are married together, I think this starts to feel like a product that people really want to use. And it starts to me to feel more like Reaper. You know, the open, you know, the like free, that Reaper is free for personal use, but for business use, actually, is Reaper free? No, you're supposed to buy a personal license. I think it's like you try it out for free and you can just keep using it, but they want you to buy a personal license. But that's how you support Reaper as a project. But the Reaper thing is like kind of open source, I think. I don't really know how it works, but it's like community driven, you know? And so now that I see these things coming together, it makes to me NAMM feel like a product in a way that it hasn't quite felt like that before. And I think more people are going to come to NAMM and use it as an alternative to other things. I think you might take your Kemper with you, but you might use NAMM at home. You might use NAMM and Tonex on your computer. You might love your Neural Quad Cortex, but sometimes use NAMM on a recording project, so you can just have your laptop when you're traveling and doing some like recording stuff. But you know, when you want to go live, you're going to maybe use some of those plugins and whatnot on your Quad Cortex. I just think it's a great option to have. And if you're like me and you like sort of these esoteric, hard to find amps, it's like Neural DSP probably won't make an archetype of, you know, a 60s magnet Vox, but you could get a capture of it and run it on Tonex or run it on NAMM, and you could use that for a project. And I think that's really cool. So I think all that stuff's coming, and I'm really excited about it. And those are my predictions for modeling and digital stuff in 2025.